Stage 1, pressing for flight.
We're go for launch. Let's light this candle.
Yes, sir. Reading you loud and clear. Clear. The clock has started.
The clock has started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey, wait, there's a rocket.
My God, they're going! They're going! Look at them!
I hear a lot of clicking.
Yeah.
Before you get hit. Oh, that's beautiful. If you count the seconds, that's how many miles away you are.
Well, I don't think so, because it was like 20 seconds before I got there.
Oh, you can kind of hear the crackle.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I wish I was there.
That's the best noise.
Yeah.
I can feel that noise.
I always tell people that's the most impressive part about a launch. It's just the noise.
Yeah.
Like you watch it on TV, you don't realize how loud that is.
Exactly.
Can you even believe it?
Like on TV, it sounds like it's space.
I think there was something cool saying.
Oh, man, I can't believe this. You're hearing me, of course. You got John Krause nearby. You got Matt. Wow. I can't believe they're gone. You got Brandon Wynn over there.
I was waiting for like Loch Ness monsters to pop out of the water or something. I was like, "Where's the
It didn't really
climax?"
hit me until they cleared the tower. It's like, oh my God, they're going.
They're going.
Well, there you
They're
go,
gone.
y'all. I just welcome to Pressing for welcome to Pressing for Flight, live from the Space Coast, where the schedule never holds. I just wanted to play that. Just first of all, I thought the audio turned out great.
Yeah.
That's if you've never been to a launch, and especially if you've never been that close, that's pretty close to like what it sounds like. Of course, that's not going to give you the volume out there. In the vibrations that you feel in your chest, but that is a pretty accurate representation of what it sounds like. That's just the iPhone microphones. I was actually pretty impressed by how good.
Yeah, that is impressive. That's super impressive. Even like the big name stations, your 3 digits, your ABC, your Fox, you don't hear the crackle in their videos.
No.
Now, of course, most of their videos they're getting just a live feed from NASA, and they don't have the
Exactly.
You can't hear the crackle.
They don't have
in
like
there.
a microphone outside. They're just they're picking up whatever NASA's putting out. By the way, I'm your host Stephen Marr. With me tonight we have Stephen, Mr. Kegel.
I'm here again. Hi.
Matthew, Mr. Jordan.
What's up?
Matthew, Mr. Cutshaw.
What's going on?
And our special guest this evening, we have Starman,
Hello.
a.k.a. Florida
It's
Man, a.k.a. Adrian Ruiz. Am I saying that right? I forgot to ask you to say your last name. Is it Ruiz?
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
All right,
Yep.
cool. Yeah, so, we all just got to watch Bob and Doug launch to the space station. That was super cool. But
Indeed.
on the scrub day, we heard that Adrian, and actually, let's back up. Let's back up a little bit because Matt, didn't you call it? You were like, I think that might have been Adrian because he said he was going to go out on a raft, which I didn't hear that, but somehow you knew that he was going to be out there on a raft, right?
Yeah, it was from Seth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we heard that I guess Coast Guard, not Coast Guard, but like wildlife management or something was called to
FWC or something
to
like
assist. And then this post showed up on Facebook, I guess, about how you had been your raft had been sunk and there was an alligator involved, and yeah, we're going to all kind of talk about our reaction to the launch, but you're the reason all the people are here. You're the reason.
Right.
You're the reason that Daryl Sauce was in the chat at like 7 o'clock. Like as soon as I like made the stream for tonight, you know, and so I could like make the link and share it on Twitter and stuff. He was like right in there. he screenshot it where he was in there just saying first. So, you know, kudos to Daryl.
Yeah, I actually saw that. Like, I was confused when I opened the link to like share it on my Instagram, and it was like people were already commenting. I'm like, I thought it hasn't started yet. Wait, I'm late. No,
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it turns out it was it. But yeah, no, it was an interesting time.
Yeah, so scrub day. Yeah. We're talking about Wednesday. This is not the launch day. He got 2 attempts at this.
Yeah, so what's it called? So I called off work that day. Well, I called off work basically the week like the whole time beforehand,
Right.
so I can like get ready.
Yeah.
Because the original plan was I was gonna build a raft, and that didn't go to plan.
Out of leaves
turns
and
out,
twigs, right?
No. It was what's it called? It was plywood, half-inch plywood boards. You know. Turns out it worked perfectly for one person, but once you put like a 5th person on it, all the hinges on it started bending and like crumbling, and it's like, yeah, this air mattress is not gonna work.
Right.
Floating in the river on an air mattress.
Yes, it was a queen size air mattress.
That's dedication right there, man.
Yeah,
That looks like a little
exactly.
raft. In
What?
that picture. It looks like a raft in that picture.
Well, yeah.
Well, yeah. So
didn't
I
wanna
actually
jump ahead.
never.
I was just going to pull up an
Yeah.
image to just have on the screen. Adrian's.
Yeah, so I never
liftoff
threw
shot.
out that raft. So actually, I never threw out the raft that I tried building on the river. We tested it on Monday before the launch, and that's when all the hinges started breaking, and we're like, yeah, it's not gonna last.
And
So
you want to
basically-
be what, like an aerospace engineer or something, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to be an aerospace. I'm not a boat engineer. That's the thing.
not a boat
Yeah.
engineer. Not at
Huge
all.
difference.
Yeah, it's a very big difference. Like, you don't use plywood board for aerospace. I'm sorry,
Of course.
but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess you're right. You're not familiar with the materials. I understand.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, so basically Monday. So Monday went. It was. I think it was Monday or Sunday. I can't remember which day. But like it was Monday morning. Monday morning we tested it. It was basically Sunday night, Monday morning. We tested it all. Turns out that it worked. Monday afternoon we were like, all right, so I guess we're gonna buy a raft. And then we bought a raft with the intention of like using it. Like, we weren't sure about it, but then it was a dinghy. Basically, it was an inflatable dinghy.
Yeah. And this picture here is from before you inflated it, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that picture is actually a little bit afterwards.
Oh, this is after.
So
the
yeah.
whole thing.
So
Okay.
what's it called? So we bought the dinghy because we wanted to put a motor on it. Then we discovered that you can't use the motor in the like a 30-pound trolley motor is still considered a motor in the no motor zone, so we can't use it.
Oh, okay. I was gonna
So
say,
we were
could you
like-
even do that with a boat like this?
Exactly. So that's why we decided to not open that one and just return it because it was $600.
Oh, shoot.
So we decided to go out and buy smaller rafts, and then we ended up going to Walmart and buying $20 rafts.
All right.
They
a
are
wise
each one's
decision.
exactly. They are 2 people. So this is the thing. So the box that says 2-person rafts. It doesn't say that it is 1 adult, 1 child.
It says
We didn't see that.
2 human beings.
It says 2 people.
It's the
When
dragon
we
of
opened it, it
rafts.
said 1. Yeah, when we bought it and we opened it, inside it said it was 1 adult, 1 child. We were like, all right, well, I guess
2
it's-
people, not 2 not full-size people.
Exactly. So that's why if you look at the raft, it's like deflated there on the ground, like it's tiny as
It
hell.
is
Like
tiny, yeah.
I was not expecting it that small. But yeah, so we were.
It's just like, oh wait, we got to get in this thing. How many of there were you?
We were
Or how
4
many?
and we had 3 rafts.
Okay.
Oh, you
just
you-
needed
okay,
one
you
more.
had 3. Okay.
Yeah, we had 3 rafts and then we had 4 people, but then we also had a like, because we were like, we're gonna get to the island like 3 hours before the launch, so we're like, let's like bring some lawn chairs, all the camera equipment,
Yeah.
like 2 coolers full of beers.
You need one raft
you know?
just for that. Yeah, just for all the gear.
Exactly.
All the necessities for an
Exactly,
island
yeah.
island.
Exactly. So
That's
it's like,
how-
we're
this
gonna
is-
chill on the island.
This is how
What?
Florida man watches a launch.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, we were like, we filled up the whole raft with all the stuff and everything. There's a video, a little bit. The second video is
Wait, which one?
Oh, that's right. You don't have it.
Yeah, I don't have them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me. I'll look in which video. Tell me the number, and I'll see if I can't pull it up.
1.
Oh,
Yeah.
number 1.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, wait. I don't see a number.
It'll be
1.
number 2 actually. It'll
Okay.
be video.
The first
2.
one you sent me. Oh. Shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all. Google Drive doesn't like MP4s for some reason, so I will do this. I will let it
That'd be
scan,
messed up.
scan me for viruses. All right. Hopefully the audio.
That's basically us. Like,
Is there a
what's it
camera
called?
crew there?
The news
Yeah.
camera is catching you guys go.
Yeah. So we were actually recorded by the French national media.
Oh, nice.
Holy smokes!
They're like,
bro.
look at these dumb Americans in this raft.
Look at these dorks. Oh, wait. I need to do some. Sorry, chat. Hold on. What is it I have to do? I've got to do this. There we go. Okay, I'll play it again. Sorry, y'all.
But yeah, that was the French national media who were like interviewing us and everything because they saw us like putting all the rafts in the water and like putting all the coolers and shit, and like they were like, we got to ask these people all these questions. So they were asking all these questions. They told me they were going to send me the link so I can see it later, but they never did. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. So I never got to see the interview. I'm curious what the interview was like.
Right.
But yeah, so they got us on tape and everything, and then we basically sailed out like at 8:30 because we got there like at 6 a.m. and we sailed out at 8:30 because of the fact that there was thunderstorms and all that stuff. We're like, let's wait for the thunderstorms to pass. Turns out that was gonna be a thing we were gonna have to do the entire day.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to the first island, fine, everything was fine. We relaxed there for like 2 hours. Then we're like, The next island is, well, first of all, the first island is 1.6 miles from A1A. So we paddled 1.6 miles to the first island.
Wow.
Then the next island is 2.6 miles.
Wait, yeah, you started here. Let's go ahead and show that. Let's show your map here. So you started from 528 or A1A, whichever. I don't know where it becomes 528, but yeah.
Yeah.
So you got in the water.
Yeah,
okay,
so
so you pulled like kind of where like people like to go fishing and stuff. So you dropped in. Right
basically,
there.
yeah. We basically went like under the bridge, like right the first exit, like right under the bridge, and yeah. But yeah, so we pulled out to the first island, which was like 1.6 miles, and then there we decided we're like, should we keep going? We keep seeing all thunderstorms and everything, but it's still go. They haven't said scrub, so like,
Yeah.
So we're like, you know what? Why not? Let's just go.
Keep going, man. You got to live, man.
Exactly. It was 10 o'clock at 10 a.m. So we're like, you know what? Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Forget it. So we kept going. About halfway there, a thunderstorm struck. Basically, it was like pouring rain, like thunder, everything. And it's like, well, we're still like a mile away.
Yeah.
And we're like closer to the new island than the one we were originally at. So let's just keep going. And whatever. But we just like, keep going.
Yeah.
That thing was a pain in the ass. Then basically it became sunny for a second, and the person who was in my raft, so because we were 4 people and 3 rafts, I was sharing my raft because I'm the smallest person. I was sharing my raft with somebody else.
Yeah.
The person who was in my raft, basically he fell asleep the entire, like when the rain stopped.
Really?
He just fell asleep, like
while you're paddling?
Yeah, so I'm paddling and he's just sleeping.
He's drunk.
And then what?
What you're telling me is he's drunk.
Not yet. Not yet. He's only had
39
one
years
Corona.
deep.
He's only had one Corona so far.
Corona.
He had Corona
no.
too.
Oh, that's why he's tired.
Oh no, of course. That's what we're drinking. It's like Corona time. We gotta drink Coronas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Corona time.
But
No one says that,
what?
by the way.
No one says that.
But yeah, so we're like keep paddling, and then basically as he's sleeping, suddenly I can see all the thunderstorms comes back towards us. Like literally, you can see all the rains coming, like covering the VAB, and then suddenly coming towards us. Like, oh shoot, not again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically, he's woken. Yeah.
Go
Basically, he's woken up because of the fact that the second one has a huge amount of winds, and basically, like all the waves start getting into the raft and like tumbling the whole raft and everything.
This is the point.
That
where
one was
like,
fun.
This may not have been such a great idea. Like it's, I know it's it's the Banana River, but it's big enough that when the wind gets going, it can feel like the ocean, kind of.
Yeah,
On paper,
that's
it sounds like a
basically-
good idea.
Yeah.
That was basically
On this map.
the whole thing. We were like thinking, I was like, damn, we need a bigger boat.
Right.
Basically, we were like doing the what's it called, the Jaws scene. Like, we need a bigger boat right now. Like, but anyway, so we started paddling. We're like, all right, we're very close. We're like maybe quarter mile from the island. So like, let's just keep going. We're right there. We can still see it. Everybody else is behind us. So also, I forgot to mention, the rafts they're $20 rafts.
Yeah.
So the paddles they bring are the worst paddles possible.
They're like wiffle ball bats.
Basically, they're like literally just a flat little thing like this big. Like they don't have much surface area. So it just turns out that one of my friends had like kayak paddles. So he only had 2 of them though. So basically only 2 rafts had the big kayak paddles, and then the other one had the little tiny ones.
Right.
And because of the little tiny ones, actually on the first island, he discovered that he couldn't move. He was just barely catching up. So they basically tied 2 of the rafts together.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like one person tugging the other raft while he was trying to make it move, but it didn't really do anything.
Wasn't going anywhere.
Oh, geez.
Exactly. So my raft was a lot like further ahead from everybody else, because basically we're trying to rush to the island, so we are not in the water during the thunder.
Get it done.
Yeah, but they're like in the other side, like they're like quarter mile away from us. Basically, it's like, well, we're not gonna wait, so so whatever. We're like, you know what? Let's go to the island. Let's just keep going. We make it to the island. It's all fine. The rain stops, but the wind keeps going. The waves keep going, and it's like, all right. But the thing is that when we arrived to the island, we noticed one little detail.
Okay.
There's no land.
Oh. Yeah,
There's
that
no
river
solid ground.
It is affected by the tides.
Yes, so
How
we
about that?
think that picture that on Google Maps showed was taken at low tide.
Low tide.
Do you know where you
So-
went? You know what they
What?
call it around here?
What?
They call it Disappearing Island.
Uh,
Just so you know.
That's brilliant.
yeah,
But yeah, so-
guys. Take
Next
your
time, like,
ladies.
call me. I live around here. Be like, that's not a good idea, boys.
Take your ladies out to Disappearing Island. Show her a magic trick.
But yeah, so it turned out it's just a glorified sandbar with dead trees on it.
Yeah.
So that was great. Yeah. So we basically got there. We're like, you know what? It's better to be like, we're like knee deep in water. So like, it's a lot better to just walk on the water than being like tumbled by the waves into the raft.
Yeah, that's true.
So we got out of the raft and we're like, just like basically with the paddles like on the floor, like seeing if we see any stingrays and whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And then basically as we were doing that, because I know that in the map if you looked in Google Maps, it showed like in the west side, it's where you saw like the big like sandy area. So I'm like, that's probably like the shallowest part. So let's just go to that area.
I wonder if I can just pull it up. Continue, but I'm gonna just like go
Oh,
ahead
yeah.
and get Google Maps to show me.
But yeah, no, yeah, if you put in Google Maps, it has to be in satellite mode.
Yeah,
You're not gonna
I
be able
will.
to see it in
I will,
yeah. But so yeah, as we were going up the island to like look for the sandy part, we see a gator. And,
Oh.
Yeah, it's actually a really interesting sight. Like I've never seen a gator like that close. Like he was literally less than like 15 feet from us, like 20 feet from us.
That ain't
Like,
where you want
he
gators.
was- What?
That ain't where you want gators. And like
No,
and
no.
on land, gators will typically run from you, but in the water, that's kind of their territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
on their home turf, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So it was like basically the same gator length. He was away from us. That was basically what it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
You were
So we were like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
So basically we were like, all right. I'm like calmly like saying, let's get in the raft and let's just go to the other side of the island. My friend's like, nah, let's get in the raft and climb one of these trees. And then basically he's like freaking out. The gator's like there in the water and whatever. And yeah, no, what's it called? My friend starts freaking out, like sees the gator coming towards us, and he's like, shoot, I need to climb this tree. And basically climbing the tree, I'm trying to push us away from the tree because the tree's covered in barnacles.
Oh, okay. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
And
The
possibly
tree's
dead.
covered in barnacles. Yeah. The tree's covered in barnacles. The waves are pushing us towards the tree. My friend is trying to climb the tree. I'm trying to push us away from the tree so we don't pop the raft.
Right.
And basically in the process of doing that, while the gator's coming towards us in the water, he gets on the tree and pushes the raft too close to the tree and pops the raft. Yep.
Ah!
I was waiting for that.
Bravo,
Yeah.
man. Bravo. That is the most well-placed sound drop you've done so far. That is awesome.
That was pretty good. Yep. So basically, so he climbs the tree, and like then I'm like, you know what? Like I literally the moment the raft pops, I can definitely feel the thing just like, nope, there's no air in this thing anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Like later on, I looked at it afterwards, and I noticed it was a fist-sized hole. Like it was a big hole on the raft.
No. Yeah,
Yeah, like it was not like a little puncture or
Like,
anything. Yeah. Yeah, like it literally just deflated completely suddenly. It's like, well, there it goes. So basically, I climbed the tree for like a second, and then basically like maybe a minute later, kind of thing. Like the other raft is getting close, so I get in the water to try to pull them out, so like they don't hit the tree also. So we have at least 2 rafts.
Yeah.
And then we can plan what the hell's going to happen later.
Right.
Well, all this is going on, my friend is still on the tree because he's freaking out for the gator. He's like looking out for the gator.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, the gator's not going to do anything. It didn't do anything to us already, so it's fine.
By the way, Daryl said 20 minutes in, and this episode has been a roller coaster, and I'm totally here for it.
But yeah, so what's it called? I think I have a video on the thing that shows just the raft popped. I can't remember what it was. I think it was like Snapchat 8, but I don't remember.
Okay. Oh, one of the videos. Okay, let's see.
Yeah.
This you can see my screen. Does this look like it might be the right one?
Yeah, look at it, very tiny. Wait. It might be Snapchat 7.
Okay. Let's see here. Luckily, they don't take long to download, and then I can just splat out.
Is it that one? Oh no, it was the one before that.
Okay. What? 6?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that was basically after we decided. Yeah. Well, yeah. I'll tell you in a second.
All right. Let's go.
Yeah, basically I was talking, and you see the raft entirely pop there in the water, just floating. That was actually a little bit afterwards. So basically, once all the gators stopped and everything, my friend got back in the water like an hour later, and that's when we started like regroup. Like the rain stopped, the water stopped, the wind stopped. So we're like, all right, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Because the next island is another 2 miles.
Oh,
We only have 2 rafts, and we still have all this equipment. So like we're like deciding on what we're gonna do. I did bring aluminum tape with the thought that if we have a small hole, we can like fix it.
At least long enough where you could keep putting air back in it. You know, you could
Exactly. But the raft was we can like fix it.
at least long enough where you could
Exactly.
uh,
But no, the hole was way too big, and basically as we inflated the raft, the tape would just pop off every single time. So we're like, all right, I guess
stick to water, right?
Well, aluminum tape is pretty good at waterproof. Like as
really?
long as you do it, if you have it on a dry surface when you tape it,
That's
it's
what I
actually
mean,
pretty
yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, we dried it with some towels and stuff.
Some of that
What?
Flex Seal tape. Flex Seal
Yeah.
tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He'll fix anything.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so basically it was like noon. So we're like, you know what? I guess we're just gonna stay here and just wait. Because we were debating on like calling the Coast Guard, but we're like, but then if we call the Coast Guard, they're just gonna send us all the way back, and then this is all pointless. So let's just wait until the launch happens, and then we'll call the Coast Guard. So we basically set up all the camera equipment, all that stuff there, and
Yeah.
we got to
Well,
see a bunch of-
you're not going to miss the launch over this.
exactly.
You're not a
I'm like,
fool.
you know what? Let's just at least stay here. We're still like, what's it called? I think from that island we were 10 miles from the launch pad.
Okay.
So it's closer than most places.
Right. Yeah. Well, closer than if you're on US 1 or something, you're definitely closer
Yeah.
than that. Yeah.
It's closer to anything that was open publicly at the time. So what's it called? Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center was not open yet, so that was actually the closer one if
Right.
it was open, but it wasn't open yet.
Yeah, because they went ahead and opened the next day.
Yep.
But they did not open the Apollo Center, which isn't surprising. They don't want a bunch of people
Yep.
on buses, but
Yeah, no, they opened the Visitor Center, which actually I think it's like 7.9 miles away from the launch pad.
okay.
So technically on the actual attempt, we actually got closer to them. Like around the same distance as them.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, so what's it called? So we just waited there in the water and like just set up the cameras. And basically we got so sad when that call out. We were literally just setting up everything and like just ready for that launch. And when it got told us like, nope, not launching, it's like, well, damn,
All for naught.
all for nothing.
Yeah.
No, if you well, if you want, you can download the videos.
Which one?
What's it called? The ones right after the ones that you just downloaded until like
Let's see,
13.
Which ones did I get? Let's see. 7 was the last one that I got.
Yeah, so 8, 9, 10, and 11. Because it's Snapchat videos. They do 10-second videos. It's a pain in the ass.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll go 8, 9, and 10 here.
Someone should have had a GoPro on the whole time.
So
Great video.
yeah, that's what we were thinking of, but none of us had a GoPro in the first place.
That's the bridge we came from.
Oh man. Looking back at home. Like
and then basically we look back at home and then we start looking at the launch pads. You can see how close Blue Origin launch pad is and everything. It's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's neat. Yeah, let's look at 9 here.
We basically went up half the Banana River. Because that over there is the bridge from between Cape Canaveral and Kennedy Space Center. And
So that's the 528 bridge.
No, that's the what's it called? The causeway.
The causeway. Oh, NASA Causeway?
Yeah, that's a causeway.
Oh, okay.
Where we went for AHF 6 and whatever.
Oh,
Where
right.
we've gone for the Atlas launches, yeah.
launch pad. But yeah, there's LC-39A. Also Delta Force over there.
Yeah, Delta 4, no big deal.
Yeah, no big deal, right?
It's in the hangar, or it's in the what is it called? The mobile.
Well, it's the what's it called? The vertical integration building.
Doesn't it have the word mobile in its name too? Because the tower itself.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
slides
it does.
away.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Mobile integration building, the MIB.
Maybe.
I don't
Well, that's Men in Black.
Yeah. Here comes the mobile.
And the one right after is
building.
the. And the video right after that is the Blue Origin launchpad. I think.
11?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
And there's the SLC-40.
Oh no, it's the one right after.
Must be the one
SLC-41.
after.
Oh, it's a friend of mine just messaged me. It's Mobile Service Tower.
Mobile Service Tower, yes.
Yep.
Yes. MST.
Yeah, MST. I guess he's watching.
I guess so. Hey, welcome. Welcome to the show. Hit that subscribe button while you're here.
It's massive. I can't wait for that one. All right.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that Blue Origin pad is just it's
it's impressive.
Huge feature from the beach. If you're at Cocoa Beach or Cape Canaveral, it's like it's just there. Like it used to just be, there's some land that kind of jutted out. You couldn't really tell where the horizon was, or whatever. But now it's like this towering facility over there.
No, it's gonna be amazing seeing it from Jetty Park and stuff like that. Like it's literally just clear above the water. Like
Jetty Park's actually going to be a good place to watch the New Glenn launch.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So that's what you did on Wednesday, and then surely you learned your lesson and did not attempt anything close to that again. If I know one thing about Adrian, he is a wise individual and would never make the same mistake twice.
Well, okay, so I didn't make the same mistake. I figured out my mistake. We had inflatable rafts, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna look for a kayak.
Right, a hard
solid kayak, right?
Right.
And basically,
Greg's
what
here.
happened?
Sorry, Greg's here. What up, Greg?
Oh, Greg Scott.
Yeah, Greg Scott.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a bunch of people here.
Hey, Greg.
Everybody wanted to hear your story. We got Klebby, Daryl, Seth, Harry, Greg. We have a few more people that are just not commenting, but that's okay. Hey, I know how to lurk too.
Yeah.
All right.
I see some people who are watching from like my feed. Like I'm getting like a bunch of Facebook Messenger messages from people.
Yeah, and we hear your phone vibrate every time.
Yep. Oh, you do?
Yeah. All right, so you got an actual human kayak.
So basically, this actually happened very last minute. So Friday afternoon, like at 3 p.m., I was at work, And a coworker was like, "Hey, by the way, I have a kayak if you want to borrow it." I'm like, "Perfect. All right, I'll borrow your kayak. Could I borrow it right after work at like pick it up at 8:30?" He's like, "Nah, that's too late. Pick it up at 4 a.m." I'm like,
Oh.
I'm like, all right. So I woke up. Oh no, sorry, 5 a.m. I woke up at 4 a.m. so I can go to drive 45 minutes the opposite direction, so I can go to his house, pick up the kayak, and then come back to UCF, pick up friends, and then go to A1A again. So, and then basically we did the same thing over again. However, this time there was no storms on the way, like we didn't have to wait for a storm on the way to the first island.
Mhm.
And we did learn our lesson on the fact that the storms and everything. So we're like, all right, we made a deal that basically if we see that at any point it's higher than 90% chance of rain at 3 o'clock, we're just gonna stop at that island, whatever island we're at,
Yeah.
and just wait until it goes down, or just stay in that island.
Oh, okay.
So we're not gonna keep going forward unless it goes down from below 90%.
Right. At 3 o'clock though, that's getting pretty close because launch was.
Well, yeah,
3.
yeah, it was 3:22.
Yeah.
But no, because I think it's that first time. What's it called? It was at 97% when we went out, and they were like saying how like if it would have been for 10 more minutes, they could have launched it. So we're like, you know what? It's less than 90. We can maybe have a window that they could launch it in.
All right.
But basically,
go ahead.
when we got to the but basically when we left, it was like a 70% chance of rain. So we're like, all right, we got to the first island. We waited there a little bit. We looked at the weather report, and it went down to 50%. So we're like,
Yeah.
let's keep going.
It kept getting
Let's
better.
not
Yeah.
exactly. Let's not stop here. Let's just keep going. Because last time we stopped there for like an hour and a half, and that's why we got stuck in the storm and everything. So we're like, you know what? It's clear right now. Let's go, because the fact that I don't want to be stuck in the 2.5 mile journey in rain.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Again, yeah.
What?
So I've got your video pulled up.
Okay, which one?
Your 360
The kayak
video.
one?
Yeah. So you guys gotta check this out. Adrian made this 360 video of him and his crew hanging out, and I've got it queued up to right about where launch happens. And hell, I might even pan around while because I listened to a little bit of it earlier, and I love their reaction. Whenever I heard it, I was like, Adrian, I'm gonna play mine first because I can't go after this.
Did anyone hear this in the background?
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
Well, son. Okay, here we go.
I've been looking. Oh! Put it full screen.
Issues. We'll have issues if we do that. They got Freebird going. Where's Adrian? Oh, he's over there. Oh, wow. He's got the...
Man, you tug that thing out there?
Yeah.
Did it make it back still working? Did it make it back alive?
Oh, yeah, it made it back working.
I love your friends, man.
Excited.
Yeah, they're great. This in a little bit we actually right after we lose track of it, we shears to it.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Should I be looking behind?
Yeah, you can see behind there the kayaks, the kayak we rode in, and the raft we rode in.
Yep, actual hard kayak back there.
Yeah.
Still using one of the inflatables.
Yeah, the raft we were using. So that's the thing. We were originally it was gonna be like the 2 people in the kayak and then 1 person in the raft, and basically we just separated the cargo. But we ended up realizing that the raft was a lot more stable for cargo, and the raft was like if we put everything in the kayak, if we get in a storm again or whatever, everything's gonna fall off the kayak.
Oh yeah, because the raft is a little more bottom heavy.
Yeah, so we ended up actually putting all 3 people in the 2-person kayak and getting all the stuff in the raft.
So how many stars are you going to give that on Walmart's website for that raft?
Oh, that's a great raft. I'm sorry, it's $20 and it works perfect.
Works exactly how you would think for $20.
Just don't run into a tree with it.
A barnacle tree.
Yeah.
I mean, how many trees you run into with barnacles on them?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, where's this Cheers at? That's awesome. Yeah, having the Freebird going and like right as it's launching is right when it's getting into the good part of the solo.
Yep. No, what's it called? He has always wanted to watch a launch with Freebird in the background.
Right, that's what he said. Yeah.
That's always been his dream. Like he's gone to. This is his second launch ever. I took him his first launch, and he was like, "I need to watch Freebird in with this thing the next time."
Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I was trying to find the Cheers part, but I don't know. Oh, there it is.
Probably a little bit.
It looks like
Is it?
they're all together there.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That Michelob Ultra.
Wise words. Come on.
There you go.
Right on.
And now he gives a speech. Wait.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he gives like a whole speech now.
All right, let's turn it up.
We've come this far that we can just come out here and watch a rocket launch out into space like it's nothing. I have my adrenaline so fucking high.
Good thing you guys are on an island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still on an island.
Yeah, no, so funny story about that. The first time we had to call Coast Guard because our raft popped, we had to do it again.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, so basically the thing is, when we decided on doing the whole, like, originally it was 3 people, like, 1 person in the raft and then the 2 people in each kayak.
Uh-huh.
Basically when we realized we had to put everything in the same kayak, we couldn't have all 3 people paddling because we basically would hit paddles constantly.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole thing was we would have 2 people paddling. One of them was like saying how he was confident he could do it all the way back there and back.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one was like, nah, I'm not going to do it all the way back. So basically I rested. So I was not paddling. I was just facing them kind of thing. Like I was in the tip of the kayak facing them. And basically they were 2 paddling. And the whole idea was that I was paddling back. And then the other person who was wanted to paddle the whole thing was going to paddle back with me.
Yeah.
But when we got to the island, both of them were exhausted, like dead. Like they were like, "We're not paddling," and I'm like, "Well, I can't paddle by myself the whole thing."
Right.
Yeah.
So if you look at the map, when the map how it said like we were in the island for like 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah.
We got to the island like 20 minutes before the launch itself. Like we got there like barely on time.
Wow.
No, because actually we were gonna go to the lower island from that, and turns out that island was a bird sanctuary, so we just had to keep going north. So we got closer than we expected.
Oh, okay.
But
did you
that's
manage
why we
to figure out where did you say that on launch day were you 10 miles that day, or were you talking about the scrub day?
On the scrub day. On the launch day we were actually 7.8 miles.
Nice.
Yep.
Very
so
cool.
we were actually barely closer than Kennedy Space Center. Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center, I believe, is 7.9 miles.
Right. And you can't even see liftoff.
No, you can't see liftoff. We could see a clear shot of the pad. You can see the VAB, Blue Origin, everything. You can see everything. Beautiful. It's amazing. You could even see the the hangar where they have the SpaceX drone, the SpaceX Falcon 9s.
Yeah, the horizontal integration facility.
Not the one in the pad, the one that they have in the Air Force Base. Yeah.
Oh yes, the hangar.
Yeah, that hangar. You could even see that.
Which last I saw, I didn't see any boosters back there. Usually there's like 2 or 3 boosters parked back there.
There's one back there right now.
There's one. Yeah. You could actually see from the island, you could actually see like the in very specific spot, you can kind of see something there, and you can basically, like, my assumption is that was the booster.
Mm-hmm.
You can see. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's one back there right now.
But it's like, because the tree line actually covers most of it.
Back there.
What?
The Crew 1 booster should be back there, right?
Or
No,
it's a block 4.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's
it's
one
all
back
over.
there with the white interstage.
Yeah.
Let's see. Everybody else. I mean, Adrian, you have just taken us on a tail. Taken us
Whirlwind.
down a
Bravo.
trip. Yes, bravo.
Definitely an adventure, I gotta admit.
So, Cutshaw, we haven't really talked about this. Like after the launch, like what were your feelings? I know we were, expressing our excitement at the time, but now that it's set in, what do you think, man? How cool was this?
The launch itself was just, I mean, a whirlpool of just like emotions. It was just, you're excited, you're just like, I mean,
Hopeful. Yeah.
very, very emotional. And so when the show first started, you had that video playing. If you listen towards the end of that video, one thing that stood out to me was when he said, "We just watched humans leave this earth."
Mm-hmm.
Like that just stuck out to me because of that's exactly what it was. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We just watched humans launch into outer space.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it was just a whirlpool of emotions. And then, of course, from there, me and Steve-O ended up just shifting off to the vehicle assembly building.
Right.
Where we got to go and see Trump and Elon talk and everything like that, and the whole event and everything.
Yeah. So what happened was, well, first of all, we owe a lot of thanks to one Mr. Jim Williams. He's the media chief for the Air Force. We've talked, we probably already talked about it on the show, but NASA was only allowed to let so many people in, and it was mostly the big media companies. A lot of the little guys that have been covering this stuff for years and are just obsessed with it were kind of left out in the cold. And Jim pulled some strings and found a great spot for us to watch from. We were only 5 miles from the pad, almost like exactly 5 miles. And as if that wasn't cool enough, he calls me up I don't know, a couple days before the original launch day, the scrub day, and asked if Trump is here for the launch, if it goes on Wednesday, and he ended up coming back on Saturday, but are you interested in going up to the VAB after the launch and, go watch him give a speech? And I was like, well, that's a really cool opportunity. And I said, well, let me talk to Matt and see, hear his reaction. And so I threw it out to Matt and I was like, are you interested in that? And he's like, oh yes. And I was like, okay, well, Matt is like gung-ho that I'm going to let him do it. And so, I got back with Jim. I was like, so Matt definitely wants to do it. So if there's room, I'll do it too, but I don't want to take anybody else's spot. Well, apparently they had enough room, and so we both got the opportunity to go. And, regardless of how you feel about any particular president at any particular time, getting to see him is kind of a neat thing, no matter what. And then, Jim Bridenstine, of course, was going to speak, and then Mike Pence ended up being there. And Elon was there too, which we did expect, but unfortunately he didn't get a chance to speak. And I don't know if, maybe he didn't want to, or, I don't know how that worked. But it was really exciting, to hear Jim. Jim was clearly just super relieved that everything went off, that the launch happened, that obviously that it was successful, that Bob and Doug were safely in orbit. Of course, by the time this happened, and the part that I missed is the catch was we had to watch liftoff, get your shots, and then get in your car and gone 2 minutes after liftoff. So it was get your shots, absorb the excitement, but then you've got to get everything packed up really quick and get in your car and go.
Just jet.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting, like getting across the Air Force grounds and Kennedy Space Center as quick as we could safely and stuff. And they even took us over a curb to get us to the bus on time.
Oh man, that curve!
Yeah,
I thought my muffler was gonna rip
I
off because
know,
my
man.
muffler's already messed up as it is, and I was like, no.
But it was really cool, and they had a really cool setup. I guess I probably should have had.
I will say while he's getting that, I will say, Secret Service don't play.
They are no kidding.
Very thorough. They are extremely thorough. They went through every little pocket of everything that you had. They did not play at all.
Oh yeah,
there's a ton of them out there.
They were like,
yeah, man,
turning on cameras and checking photos and stuff.
Yeah, they did not play at all. They were very thorough.
Here we go. Yeah, so this is the scene inside the VAB. I took a wide shot just because obviously the VAB is really, really big, but to give a little tighter shot of what the stage looked like. You got Dragon up there with it's a mock rover, but it's one of the lunar rovers, and then a segment of the space shuttle booster. So it's kind of neat, it's like the SpaceX Crew Dragon belongs up there with these historical pieces of equipment, because they just not only returned human spaceflight to the U.S., but it's the first commercially owned and operated human spacecraft to ever launch humans. And one of the cool things I thought about the stream was how it really was the SpaceX show. They were running it, and there was a lot of questions during the pre-launch press briefings and stuff, where there were questions about, well, who's really running it, and does NASA have their finger on the abort, or whatever. And NASA was very clear. They're like, this is a SpaceX launch. Obviously, the NASA officials are there to oversee, and because it is their astronauts on board, so obviously they have a vested interest in making sure that SpaceX isn't doing anything unsafe. They didn't expect them to, but just out of an abundance of caution, they're going to be in the room and make sure that all the calls are good.
Yeah, it's still NASA's mission too.
Right.
They got they can pull it if they want.
Right. Yeah. So Trump spoke. I don't know. Anybody read Matt Jordan's article about it? We had some people on Facebook not really appreciate.
They were not appreciative of my tone that I took with the president.
What was the title of that article that you wrote?
That was actually my second title. My original intended title. Wait, let me pull it up because it's been a few days. But the original intended title was much, much better. That title was Space Achievement devolves into political mumbo jumbo, I believe, something along those lines.
Well, you mean to tell me that people disagree with other people's opinions?
Yes.
Oh, sir, I've never heard such a thing.
And we'll swear you off because of that disagreement.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know what world we're living in now, but apparently it's a world that if you disagree with someone, you must vehemently hate them.
Right. Yep.
You should be fired, Matt.
That would work if I was getting paid.
He's like, I ain't going nowhere. I still got access to the WordPress.
Yeah, man. Until that gets taken away, the articles are going to keep flowing.
So let's see. Well, let's see. I want to pull up. I want to show Matt Cutshaw's picture because it apparently wins the favor of the great Musk.
Yeah, man.
Let's see, Matt.
Got one of those likes.
Wonder. Let's see. I gotta go down. Maybe not too far. Let's see. It was just really cool when was it Jim Bridenstine or Mike Pence or maybe both? One or both of them called on Elon to at least stand up. Oh, got some good shots of Bush to return to. Yeah, Bridenstine asked him to stand up. Okay, this is.
Well, that's because Jim. I mean, like I said in my article, Jim took what I felt was a very much more appropriate stance to his role in the success of this endeavor,
Right.
compared to like what the president did. Jim said, "Hey, you know what? This is a great endeavor. I want to call out, Charlie Bolden or Holden, and I want to call out the administrator who was the administrator when this started. It wouldn't be that way if it weren't for him. And I want to call out Elon because he's the one. This is his baby, and he made it happen. He was really good about that." And yeah, I felt that was a much more appropriate tone than the one that the president.
Yeah, give a little credit to the guy that really
As far
made
as
it
I'm
happen.
concerned, neither of the other two speakers, other than Jim, had anything to do with the success of this mission.
Right.
Yeah.
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 That's an unpopular opinion, apparently. So that's okay.
I actually 100% agree on that one.
Yeah.
That it's definitely I actually haven't heard the speech yet. I have to look it up, but
you were too busy paddling when that was happening.
Yeah, no, I was
Out
trying
of
to
breath
when
and
that was happening.
drinking beer.
You don't have
Yeah.
to, Adrian. If you go over to Next Horizons, I live streamed the whole thing, so you can.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, you
Oh,
can
you
watch
did?
the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
From inside the VAB. That's cool.
Yep, from inside
Yeah.
the
I believe the alternate title for the article was "Orange Troll Makes Space Achievement Feel Like Oral Surgery."
Oh, that would go over well.
Yeah.
So I
We'd
picked
have a lot of
the more
trolls on the page.
appropriate title for the article, but that's what I wanted to name it.
Yeah.
Because it was all his speech was not he took a great moment
Oh,
where
yeah.
he made an impact for future generations. He took that moment and turned it into a political rally it didn't need to be.
Right.
He was not preaching to the people he needed to be preaching to in that building.
Yeah. No.
Just saying.
Yeah.
So DM2 meant a lot to a lot of people. You know what I mean? It was a lot of people that we know within the space community. This is actually their first crewed launch, their first, watching humans launch into space. You have Julia, a bunch of people who you think, oh, they must have watched a crew launch before. Well, this is the first launch for everybody. So it's very emotional going across the board for a lot of people.
Yeah.
One thing that is, as you can see on the screen here, my picture in particular got Elon liked my picture. Like that was huge for me. You know what I mean? I'm always going to remember that moment. Yeah, granted, it was somebody else retweeting my picture and then crediting me in the comments, but he still saw my picture, and that's just that puts me over the moon right there. You know what I mean? The fact that he liked my picture.
Yeah, that was
it almost looks like he's like stretching to get out of bed. He's like,
yeah.
I think that picture is a perfect. He is excited that the goal has been accomplished, but he is also exhausted because it has taken him so much. That is the image of a fighter who has fought very hard to win the battle.
Yeah, I like how Jim's looking at him too. Jim's just giving them that look like
Jim. I wish my wife
smiling.
would look at me like Jim was looking at Elon.
Yeah.
Right. Find yourself somebody that looks like you the way Jim looks at Elon.
Right.
And that's what I want in my life.
So after the VAB event, obviously there was still a lot to do. I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible, but I thought this was really cool. This is the point when Doug Hurley was taking control and doing kind of their manual test flying of Dragon. It was close enough that they could get footage from the space station, but these puffs from the Dracos are actually that's actually Doug piloting it. He's the one making that happen. And then of course SpaceX has the video of actual soft dock or soft capture.
Oh yeah.
So that's
appreciate that, Brandon.
Soft capture complete.
what did Brandon say.
He was saying awesome.
And I apparently have it pulled up in 2 tabs. So this is the part. Now, if you were watching live, it's just
complete.
I gotta stop. If you were watching the live stream, it took Bob and Doug forever to get out of the Dragon. They're so disciplined. They had to get the Dragon all nice and tidy, and they had all the these things that they had to do and make everything in its place.
I had to pee on the ceiling.
Yeah, you gotta pee on the ceiling. Oh, and you guys
No,
noticed? Huh?
I was actually looking at the footage of when they basically they were saying how they when they took off their other spacesuit, they put in they basically put it on a seatbelt on the seat next to them, like tucked it
Oh,
all
really?
there.
Oh, so it's like flying next to him.
Yeah.
And they plug that into the supply that would normally run their breathing air and everything inside the suit. They plug that into the suit and they use that as drying air to dry out the inside of the suit because you sweat a ton in those suits.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So this is the moment when
how long are they going to be?
Oh,
when they coming back?
Well, that's
30 days?
undecided.
It's like 74 to like 147 days or something like that. It could be either a very long time or a moderately short time.
Yeah, they keep
Those
saying
suits are going to be those be ripe when they get back in them.
Yeah.
I don't know. They'll dry out. They'll be all right.
I'm just hoping they get back here after mid-August because I want to see that landing.
Yes, me too. It's like 30 miles off the coast.
The earlier they come back, that means that Crew Dragon or the Crew 1 is right around the corner because they're going to come back 30 days before Crew 1 goes.
Right,
so
that's the plan. Unless they, for some other reason, need to bring them back. But that is the plan. That's why we can't really say for sure how long they're going to be up there because they're obviously testing out Crew Dragon. They'll bring them back if they need to, but otherwise they want to leave them up there until a month before the next crew launch.
Mm-hmm.
Now, from what I'm hearing, that month before the next crew launch is actually mostly dependent on getting the next Crew Dragon, getting that all integrated and running it through its checkouts.
Right, and I'm pretty sure during one of the post-launch briefings, they said that it has it started its testing phases.
Yes.
Yep.
They're just waiting for it to get to the end of its testing phases. As far as I've heard from the data that they're getting back on this launch, because that's also another part of the whole process, right?
Right. Okay, so that's them coming on in. Oh, and did you guys notice right above the hatch, it's actually the hatch door, that's the flag.
The flag.
That is the flag that is to be captured.
Yep, that flag was flown on STS-1 and then STS-135.
Right.
Yep. That door hasn't been open in 9 years.
And actually, here is the video about
depending on how long we stay up here, you can bet we will take it with us when we depart back to Earth. From that standpoint, I think, we have talked about this flag before many times over the last 9 years since we left it here on STS-135. And I think the important point is, as I said before, just returning launch capability to the United States to and from the International Space Station. And that's what this flag really means. And I think a little bit more, it's to the thousands of people that made it possible. From the folks at SpaceX to the folks at NASA to the folks within the commercial crew program. And we just are lucky enough to be able to take it home with us. And that'll be our plan here in a month or 2 or 3 or 4, depending on what, as Bob says, what Uncle Kirk lets us do.
And that's
greatest capture of the flag.
Yeah. That's Kirk Shireman he's talking about. He's like the head of the space station program. What is here? Okay, I think what this is so somebody asked some questions about several people asked questions about what it's like to ride on the Falcon 9 because
I remember hearing this.
No one's ever done it. It took them a while to really get to what I think the reporters were asking about, what does it feel like? So
compared to shuttle.
Right, yeah.
Hey guys, it's Chris Davenport from the Washington Post. Thanks for taking the time and congrats on your flight. And I'll try not to leave you hanging this time. To follow up on Bill and Steven's question about the ride, I wonder if you can walk us through, some of the technological differences between shuttle that led to the difference in the experiences, and then maybe a little bit more of what were some of the key moments during the ascent phase that stood out to you guys. Thank you.
Hey, Chris, good to talk with you. I think just generically, the Falcon 9 is a liquid-fueled rocket. Remember, shuttle had solid rocket boosters to start with. Those burned very rough for the first 2.5 minutes. The first stage with Falcon 9 were the 9 Merlin engines and roughly the same amount of time, and it was a much smoother ride, obviously because it was a liquid engine ascent at that point. Where the differences started for, I think, both Bob and I, and we commented on it at the moment, was at staging, and it was very similar to what you saw in the Apollo 13 movie, where they staged from first to second stage. So the first stage engine shut off, and then it takes a second, almost a second, might have been less than that, but it seemed like it took some time between the booster separating and then the Merlin vacuum engine starting. And so at that point, we go from roughly 3 Gs to 0 Gs for, I don't know, half a second probably. And then when that Merlin vacuum engine fires, then we start accelerating again for the next 5-6 minutes until we achieve orbit. So totally different than shuttle. You know, it was smooth. It got a little rougher, as Bob had mentioned before, with the Merlin vacuum engine. And it'll be interesting to talk to the SpaceX folks to find out why it was a little bit rougher ride on second stage than it was for shuttle on those 3 main engines.
So, I didn't tell you guys this, but the other night, Becca and I were wassailing out on the beach, ran into one Mr. Tim Dodd, everyday astronaut, and we were, we were talking about the launch, obviously, super excited about it, but I was like, so what about that, the second stage thing? They're saying that like the first stage was smooth and the second stage was a little rougher. And, Tim Dodd, he has become sort of like an encyclopedia for rocket engines, and he's like, well, like the first thing that he thought of, and hopefully he'll like talk about this on a video in the future, is possibly because the engine's closer to you, right? And so you feel the different, oscillations or whatever while it's pushing you. So maybe that's a reason, and I don't think for a second that they were trying to say that there was anything wrong with the Merlin vacuum engine. They were just commenting on it, how it was rougher than the first stage.
Well, it's a whole different vehicle, so
yeah. So it's interesting to know like what it feels like. That's what people want to know. Like, what does it feel like to ride on a Falcon 9? We've seen now there's 85 Falcon 9.
85. Today is the 10th year anniversary.
That's right. Yeah, today
today's the 10th anniversary.
of Falcon 9. That's right. But nobody's ever ridden until now. So people are interested.
Yeah, they had 85 test flights before they actually put people on it. That's pretty awesome.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
That's essentially what it boils down to. Like, they started that whole program with the intent of putting people on top of it, and it just took them 85 flights to get there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Had to work out some kinks along the way. And
put a few satellites up. And
they made a lot of money doing it, so hey, good for them.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if there's going to be a point where there'll be a differentiation where, like, you talk about the Falcon 9 Block 5, if you can ever say, okay, Falcon 9 Block 5 has never had a failure, because obviously they've got a couple failures in their past, but those, they were making iterative changes along the way, and then when they finally reached Block 5, it's almost like they should have just changed the name of it, to be able to start from zero, so that it could maybe one day be called the most reliable rocket, or at least be on par.
5 variant was the most reliable rocket ever when it becomes that. And it has, about 12 years worth of launches to get there.
Yeah, and this isn't like, oh, I want it to be better than the Atlas or anything. The ULA has a flawless track record, but I think that SpaceX is getting to the point where they kind of deserve some of that celebration for having such a reliable rocket.
What are you talking about? They just did. They sent 2 astronauts into space first.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
but Atlas can do it
if no
too.
one thought they were reliable, they wouldn't have put them on top of it.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I agree on the fact that, like, the Block 5 is basically a completely different vehicle from the Falcon 9 version 1.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely different.
Yeah. From the CRS-7 one and then the Amos 6 one. There's completely different rockets. Okay, so see, that's pretty much all I've got for like Bob and Doug getting up. But let's see, what day? Shoot, what day was it? It was Tuesday. So Tuesday, this historic of boosters returns.
Oh yeah.
To the port, and this video is by Cosmic Perspective, and they just do incredible work. So I just thought that, well, it'd be a great video to show that windsurfer. I saw him too. I got some shots with him in there.
You know, they do amazing slow-mos.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys, if you're not following Cosmic Perspective, you're missing out.
Mhm.
Like
I am now.
after a launch, they just put out some of the most incredible footage. And they're just great people. Like, if you ever meet them, like Ryan and Mary Liz are just incredible.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they're awesome.
So yeah, the only booster to ever launch humans returns to Port Canaveral. Man, like I want to just let it continue playing, but I don't know if anybody. Yeah, Harry said it too. Their footage is incredible.
No, what's it called? It's amazing seeing the booster with the NASA Worm logo on it.
Right.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah, like yesterday, right before the Starlink launch, we went to Fish Lips and we got to see it. Basically, they had it in vertical and they had just raised the legs, and they carried it from the barge to the put it into horizontal and then put it on the truck.
Yeah, they never even
And
put it on a stand. They left it on the octave.
Yeah, no.
That is such an interesting thing because
Yeah, man.
this is a brand new booster, so I'm wondering if they finally learned all their lessons they needed to learn, and
I
they
think that's what it is, yeah.
now know how to. And they, I don't want to stop.
They took it. They got that thing to lay down fast too,
dude.
That's why, like, in less than 24 hours, like maybe a little bit over 24 hours, they got it from literally getting into port to being in horizontal on the truck, ready to go.
Yeah, that's all I was telling
Which I
Kegel.
think,
He was Kegel's like, oh, I'm gonna go after work and go and check it out. I'm like, it's gonna be gone by the time.
And I was like, no, it's gonna still be there.
There is less stuff that they have to do to that booster than they would normally have because that booster will never be used again. That's a museum piece.
I don't think so, man. I think it's
I
gonna.
don't
be
think
used.
so.
They're gonna use it again.
I think so.
I think it's gonna be used again.
Now, this just since yesterday, Michael Baylor put out he shared this screenshot of something stating that NASA has already approved them to fly astronauts on flight-proven boosters and Dragon capsules.
Ooh,
but that doesn't start until after Crew 2. So,
yeah, that would make sense because they've already got the work order in for the Crew 2 capsule.
Exactly.
So one capsule is probably going to be the first one to be
could
reused.
be, and this booster could be used for the. Maybe they'll save these boosters just for the human ones.
This booster and that capsule are going to be the ones that they save. Like I said, these are museum pieces.
Right.
Like people want to see this for generations to come because it has been so much. So those are museum pieces. That's where that's going. So all they have to do is basically rip out the insides of that rocket, pull the engines off the bottom, and send it to Smithsonian.
See, I see them putting the capsule as a museum piece, not the booster. I see them reusing that booster.
Now that booster is going to end up in NASA's rocket garden.
They already have
eventually. I think
they already have like 3 boosters they can put at NASA's rocket garden.
I don't know. This one's special because this is the only one
the only first one. Yeah.
Yeah, this has history to it now.
But I do
take
think
the other
they're
ones
going
and
to
put the
fly
worm on it, and you're good.
I mean, it's been kind of a debate
Not
online.
the same, people. It's not the same.
No one will know.
I just wouldn't.
We would.
I believe in reflying them. I believe in reflying the capsules. Like make them as reusable as possible because that lowers launch cost. But that one right there, no.
Yeah, yeah. It's been an ongoing discussion on all the Twitter spheres and the Facebook.
Yeah, like Daryl says, I think the Rocket Garden's going to get the Falcon Heavy demo side booster.
Well, I mean, it was said
that's exactly what I'm thinking. Yeah,
back the first one to land on a drone ship, that was CRS-8. That was the one that was originally intended for the Rocket Garden, I believe.
Yeah, but then they have the Falcon Heavy booster now, so
they got a million to choose from. Whatever you like, pick your poison.
They also could put some at the Smithsonian. They already have one at at Johnson, so they could also put one now in Kennedy. They have a bunch of museums they could put it at.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
They
sure
could
there's a million.
They could probably have one at Uber Hazy or something like that. Yeah.
I'd be all about Udvar Hazy. Put it down sideways in the back on the other side of the shuttle. Perfect place
Since
for
they
it.
have so many of them, they could just put one in my backyard.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Wait, which one was it that they just installed at Johnson Space Center?
It's not Johnson Space Center. It's Houston Space Center.
No, it's Johnson Space Center.
Space Center Houston.
Oh well.
Oh yeah.
Well, that.
Well,
yeah,
the Visitor Center,
sorry,
Space
that-
Center Houston. Yeah.
So that's what they call
Yeah,
it. Yeah. But it's
yeah,
at
Space
Johnson,
Center
right? Or it's got to be
No.
close.
Yeah.
It's not even nearby. It's not next to Johnson.
No, it is.
No,
It's
not.
in the facility. It's the same thing as Kennedy Space Center and Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center. That they're like right next to each other.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
there's a bus tour that goes into Johnson Space
Johnson
Center.
Space Center is in Houston.
Yeah. The Space Center Houston has a bus tour that takes you into the Apollo Center and all this, and the what's it called, the neutral buoyancy lab and all that stuff, and that's from there. That's all in Johnson Space Center.
Okay, I thought Space Center Houston was like their own museum separate from NASA.
No,
Well, it's a museum separate from NASA, but it's the same thing as a Kennedy Space Center Visitor Center that's owned by Delaware North.
Right.
Oh, gotcha.
It's a
So
similar
Delaware,
concept, yeah.
So Delaware North owns Space Center Houston, or no?
I don't think it's Delaware North. I think it's someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But it's a similar concept that is basically like somebody else owns the museum, but they do the bus tours into Johnson Space Center, which is on property.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
just a little thing. Delaware North does not own the park. It's still NASA, all NASA property. They manage and run it.
Yeah, they do all the actual
the contract.
administration of the area.
Right.
Okay, I thought
But
they
that's
owned the
all-
park.
that's
And...
all-
No, they don't own it. It's theirs under contract.
Yeah, whenever
Got
I'm
it.
working in there, every piece of equipment all has NASA tags like on everything.
Well, no, I know the equipment is NASA. Like what's it called? NASA leases it to them, but I thought the
Even
like the
projectors,
land itself was theirs.
Even the projectors have NASA property stickers.
Oh no,
on
yeah.
them.
I just thought it was like the land itself was theirs, and then NASA leases their things to them, like all the stuff.
No,
It's on the list. I'm gonna go to Houston one of these days. Go check it out.
Yeah, I'd like to go.
I have a bunch of tickets if you want them. So
Oh, really?
It's on.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
yeah, let me know because what's it called? I went there during spring break, and it was actually cheaper. So we were 12 people, and it was cheaper to buy 20 tickets and get the large group discount than just buying 12 tickets.
Oh,
So I
wow.
bought 20 tickets. So I have
What is-
eight tickets that are like just hanging out.
What was the expiration date on them though?
They don't have one.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I know what we're doing this summer.
Hey, airline flights are so
trip.
cute.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, man, I want to go check it out.
How
I'm
far
telling
is
you.
Houston from Boca Chica?
Oh, it's like the same distance between Jacksonville and Miami.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lord.
Dang.
It's a good little drive.
Yeah, Daryl
Yeah,
said
because
pick me up on
Houston
the
is
way.
around the same latitude as Jacksonville, and Boca Chica is around the same latitude as Miami.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, yeah. Oh, this photo right here. I'm kind of
Yeah,
proud
like
of
5
it.
hours. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I had a couple people ask if about wallpapers, and a lot of people say, "Oh, thanks for the new wallpaper." So I was proactive and made it available for download, which typically I don't have my photos available for download, but I made it where only the 1 megapixel, because you don't want to put your full reses available for download because then people can just print them themselves. But if you go to spacecoaststeve.com and
Good enough for your phone background.
exactly, yeah. It's big enough for a phone background. It's only $2 on the website. So if you want that would be really cool, and it won't have the watermark as you'll see here. I always wonder if if that's understood. Like here, this
Yeah.
image is available. It doesn't have the watermark on it when you buy it. By the way, people.
I like the black background there. That's what I did last night with my edit.
Oh, I didn't
But
like
after
that. That's
you did that,
just that's just because I have it loaded up here. Google Chrome just.
Oh,
put it
okay,
there.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine was actually taken at night, so that's all Mother Nature.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm
so
just
here.
reading the comments and I found them funny as hell.
Yeah, the
Like
spicy.
Harry Stranger's like, it's just 5 hours. I'm like, yeah, I agree 100% on that. Like I go to New Orleans all the time. It's just 9 hours. It's not a big deal.
You're right.
Yeah, they be killing me in the chat sometimes, man.
Like I've gone to New Orleans. Like I've gone. Like I leave at here at 4 p.m. Arrive there at 3 a.m. for a NASA social at 7 a.m.
So Seth says, doesn't look like it's Delaware North. It's Manned Spaceflight Education Foundation that runs it. And he's surprised it hasn't caused any issues because of the manned versus crewed name.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Yeah.
Now this is a photo by Kyle Montgomery, right? Yeah, Kyle was out there watching the leg folding, and to everyone's surprise, we've already mentioned it, but they did not lift the booster up off the drone ship before lifting the legs. And what's even more surprising is the crane was not attached the entire time.
That's pretty confident in that thing.
I know, and it's not like the drone ship doesn't. It's not like it doesn't move around. You know what I mean? Like it does. Like there's been some times that I've taken time lapse of the part where they're dropping the cap, the lifting cap onto the interstage, and you can see that it is moving. It's not much, but it does move around, and so I just find it really interesting that they left it sitting on the octograbber. They never disconnected the octograbber. They left it on there. They put the lifting cap on and then disconnected it. That's so odd to me. I mean, I guess because it's on a moving platform, so you don't want it connected to the crane, because if you've got tension tight and then that drone ship moves at all, then you might actually
gonna pull it
over. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it makes sense, I guess, that they disconnected it. It's just insane to me. I mean, they skipped an entire step. They don't have to pick it up, move it over, put it on the stand. I think it's brilliant. I hope that this is the way they do it from now on.
What's it called? I posted on I posted on my Instagram, if you want to look it up, like what's it called, a time lapse of them lifting it out of the barge and just putting it on the ground, like right before they grabbed it.
Yeah, so Starlink, that booster should be in probably Saturday, Sunday.
What's it called? I didn't do the time lapse all the way because of the fact that my phone was at 4% battery. And I also was at fish lips. I didn't have my climber ready or anything. I was just eating food.
Right here.
But you can see that.
Oh, okay. When they lifted it off.
Yeah, they lifted it out of the thing and
Oh, okay, that's great. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't realize that you got that.
Yeah.
But they're not okay. They're not connected to the base yet.
Yeah, no.
So do you have
called?
Okay, so you don't
I basically got it until they lowered it, and they were just hooking up the crane, and I noticed that my phone was at like 2% or something, and I needed that phone for because I wanted to do a live stream for the Starlink launch.
I had another one.
So I'm like, shoot, I need to save the battery in this phone. So that's why I just stopped the live stream, the hyperlapse, and then charged it. Yeah. And then Ryan gave me a charger Starlink so I can charge my phone a little bit. But yeah.
Adam, what's his name? Adam Bernstein.
Adam.
He got a.
Did he post it already? I haven't seen because he was with me taking the video.
Right. Yeah. He did. He got a time lapse of him laying it down.
Okay. Because I know he was trying to figure out how to put his phone. He actually put his beer on the stand and basically balance his phone on the thing so that he can sit down and not be holding the phone. I was like dumb and I was holding my phone trying to be as straight as possible.
Yeah, there you go. This is always fascinating. You got two cranes picking up this huge thing and laying it down.
Yeah, basically he got almost right after I my video.
So one thing that was really interesting about this mission is, as Of Course I Still Love You was coming home, Just Read the Instructions was heading out. And that was our first indication that Starlink was about to happen. And sure enough, sure enough.
Like that deployed.
I don't need to have the audio on that. Another thing that was surprising is that this video didn't cut out.
Wasn't cut,
Yeah, it didn't cut out.
Just Read the Instructions was a great track record on that.
Oh, really?
Even in when it was in the Pacific, most of the landings, you would have no cutoff.
They were pretty close to shore at that point, right? There were people that could see the landings from.
There was one that was really close to shore, but most of them were actually pretty far off. But there was one that was basically just above the horizon. You could see the booster, half the booster above the horizon kind of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah, so this is like I feel like Starlink just snuck up on us, and this is now the first booster to launch and then land for a 5th time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, it feels like that these 4th, 5th, 6th.
Wait,
they're
wasn't the one that like the engine shut down mid-flight? Wasn't that a 6th flight?
No,
That was a 5th flight.
it was a 5th
That was a
flight.
5th flight.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
I
then-
thought that was a 6th
and
flight.
then failed to
Okay.
land. Yeah, this is the first one to land for a 5th time.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, it's right here in the tweet. First orbital class rocket booster to successfully launch and land 5 times.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Elon wants to push that one as far as they'll go. He wants to push the limit, which I mean, when in selling these things, they've said, hey, these are going to have a 10 times they can be reused limit.
Yeah.
Well, 10 times reuse without any refurbishing.
Without any refurbishing, yes.
Right. Which I'm not sure if they're even to the point where they are doing no refurbishment.
Actually, they are right now. They basically
It's just an inspection. They don't replace any
They do a quick
cables or
inspection.
hoses or anything.
Nope, they don't actually take him. Like before the block force, they would actually ship him back to McGregor, and then they will do a static fire again and all that
Right,
stuff.
yeah, I remember
These they
that.
just leave in the hangar here. They just look at it over like on top, and that's it.
Yeah, and no cleaning, right? Clebby said no cleaning.
Yeah,
They don't
no
clean it.
cleaning.
Yes, definitely no cleaning.
They clean a little once like small sections for the like what's it called, the truck to hold on to them, and that's basically it.
Yep.
Oh, I
They
thought that
clean
those
it
were
out.
like they had to like clean it off to like for inspections or something, like X-ray.
That too probably.
Yeah.
But like I know that some parts are for the truck like hold down parts.
Right.
But I know that probably for some inspections as well.
Oh yeah, and speaking of Starlink, this is my totally botched photo.
You know what? It still looks awesome. It looks like it vaporized.
Looks like a mushroom.
It does
cloud,
really
kinda,
cool.
like the bottom of a mushroom cloud.
It does. It looks like one of those World War II. I mean, what's it called like you've seen the footage of the nuclear bomb in like Bikini Atoll with the aircraft carrier right in front of it.
Yeah.
Or like a long exposure of sunrise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to bring it up because just to offer some encouragement to other photographers out there. I was fairly confident that I was going to be safe with f/18 on my aperture with this. And I thought maybe I'll be a little overexposed, but I didn't want to be too dark because I was hoping to get kind of that cool reflection you get on the water. If as you can see, I put the horizon right at the midway. I wanted to have a mirror effect going there. And I was like, I had it at f/20 at first, and I was like, let me drop it down to f/18 just to make sure I'm gathering enough light here. And way blew it out. Totally blew it out. And I was like, man, I should have been like 5 stops above that.
That was called for long exposures. I always tell like every time somebody asks me, I always tell them the same thing. It's just as dark as possible. Like you can in Lightroom, you can get it a little bit brighter. It's fine, but just go as dark as you possibly can.
Yeah, I suppose so. But I'm used to being further away because on night launches, I don't typically go to the press site. This was kind of a last minute because it was so cloudy. I was like, well, the only way I'm going to get anything decent is to be at the press site. So I went ahead and headed up. I wasn't able to do remotes, but I went up to do the press site thing.
Oh, that's why I didn't see you out there.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you did remotes, but I wasn't sure.
I didn't want to bug Becca with a funky schedule this week when I basically had all of last week off for DM2. I was like, I'm just going to chill this week, and I could still watch it. I was still going to be able to shoot it. I just wasn't going to be able to do remotes.
Okay.
So there you go. These things happen. And one of the contributing factors, which I don't know.
Seth is right.
Huh?
No, Seth is F/22 all day. I'm like, yep, that's definitely true.
I mean, at a distance, I'm usually more like F/15 or so, F/13. But
see, even at a distance, I always go like F/20 something.
I don't know. I want to be able to get the surrounding light too. Maybe street lights and stuff like that.
Okay.
But another contributing factor is it was super hazy out there. Like I didn't even realize necessarily. Like we had that sea fog going on, and I still don't think that it would have saved it if the sea fog wasn't there. But when the rocket lifts off and the flames they're igniting all these little water particles, all these water vapor drops in the atmosphere, and all of that gets illuminated, and so that contributes to a way overexposed photo. Another thing I wanted to point out to you guys, if you didn't see Emery Kelly, he shared a bunch of these videos from this archive, from the NASA archive, and they are great. In fact, if you are watching the stream or the video later on, you'll notice that one of the videos or one of the clips came from right here. But you can go to, the easiest way might be to just look up Emery Kelly and then, scroll down to this particular tweet. But there are all these videos and images and everything that you can get there that are free to use from NASA. Stuff from, like Bob and Doug inside Dragon, once they were in orbit. You've got, launch footage, all kinds of good stuff. So, get in there and just have a great time. It's got a search thing, you can get just images or just videos or just audio. And then you can also narrow it down by the year. So, that's a plethora of, let's see, does that include cinematic shots of everyone? Wait, what? I thought they belonged to Nat Geo. Daryl said I thought they belonged to Nat Geo.
Nat Geo.
That's hilarious. Yeah, a bunch of people had their streams shut down.
Copyright infringement coming on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't understand how. Well, it was done by a computer. I can completely understand how that happened.
Yeah, they look at the Nat Geo and
NBC.
And NBC. They did like auto copyright strikes on NASA spaceflight and Everyday Astronaut and a couple others, I think, because they were airing the same footage, which was NASA footage.
Yeah,
but their computers they're matching up footage, and they just like bam, copyright strike. So several people had their streams taken down because of that.
Oh shoot! Okay.
And they were reinstated and everything, but there was lost revenue because of the time that people might have been doing super chats or ads or whatever. There was lost revenue because of them having their stuff set up that way.
I mean, that's what Everyday Astronaut said. He was like, "Dude, I do this for a living, and you just messed up the biggest opportunity that I had this year."
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's wrong. They shouldn't be able to do that, and they should offer some kind of compensation, I think.
Google is not going to do that.
No. No, I think Nat Geo should. And see
well, are we sure it was them or it was like an algorithm
from YouTube?
YouTube.
Oh, I mean, maybe, but they did it on behalf of Nat Geo and NBC.
Because they monitor those feeds, or they have some set up, and if anything matches that, it just automatically sends it out.
Greg said we should be shut down immediately for copyright infringement.
Yeah,
you're right, Greg. Yeah, we're gonna try to wrap this up. Greg. Hey, guess what? There is another Starlink next week. Bam!
Wait, what?
Yeah, Michael Baylor reports that they are targeting no earlier than June 12th/13th for the next Starlink mission. Per a marine hazard zone report or whatever. And it's going to be basically the same time as this one. It looked to me like it was going to be about 9 o'clock at night.
This is the second launch I'm missing this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, you were there. Yeah, you saw Starlink.
The first launch I missed this year was the last CRS mission. I was in Hawthorne for that one.
Oh, you were.
So I saw it, but
yeah.
So I saw it, but I was in the factory.
Which pad is this one from? Do we know?
Probably 40.
I'm going to assume 40. I don't think it says, but we have another one from 39A coming up, but I'm not sure which one it is. Actually, I want to say it might be the 9th one, because we only have media invites out for 9 and 10 at this point. So I think this next one might actually be the one from 39A. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. Just wait. That more information will come out. But yeah,
I think it'll be 39A because they just launched from LCC 40, so they do have a little bit more time to prep LC 39A.
Yeah, exactly. I think there will be 2 more Starlink launches this month. That is kind of what I'm mentally preparing for, and kind of preparing Boss Becca. Like, hey, gonna need some days off because I didn't get to do remotes. I feel like I haven't done remotes in a long time, and I really want to get out there and do it.
I mean, now that they don't have the stress of DM2 like sitting on their shoulders, that go get this thing done. Now that they have that, they might actually hit their every 2-week goal at some point this year.
Yeah, they were pretty close to that in January, February, but Wasn't
They were
quite
trying
there.
real hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll have that magic number of 12 up by the end of the summer, and then they can start talking about their betas. You know, actually getting people to test this out. All right, let's see. Let's see. We gotta. Oh, that's just Matt's photo there. Okay, yeah. So that's it. That's everything I got. What do you guys got? You guys got anything else?
Sleepy time.
Sleepy time.
Sleepy time sounds pretty good. I got class at 9. I do want to say, and I was mentioning this in the before the show. So real quick about my feelings about the DM2 launch, because I think I had a completely different set of feelings than everybody
that's
else.
Right. Yeah, I was supposed to cut to you, Mister.
It's okay. We'll
Negative
close
Nancy.
on. I'm down with. I'm not a negative Nancy. I just had a different feeling about it. Right. So DM2. I was supposed to be super excited about DM2, and I was up until like maybe 2 days beforehand. It felt like I had been hit with it so much because I don't watch a lot of other news and I don't do a lot other than this and like my school stuff. So it felt like
I've wanted to talk about the last few episodes.
Yeah, and it felt like I was being bombarded with it all the time, and it's not a bad thing, but it felt, and then plus you watch the launch and it looked like every other Dragon launch, or Falcon launch, right? It looked exactly like every other satellite launch that we've seen and all these Starlink launches. So actually watching the launch, it didn't feel any different for me. I know there were men on board this guy. These men get trained, paid to do that, and that's their job, and I would love to have that job. But it's still like, it felt like meh. It felt meh.
Well,
and I feel bad that it felt meh.
I think it's sort of like, whenever you talk to people that aren't really in the know, and you tell them it's they're launching on a Falcon 9, it's Dragon and stuff. They're like, they think for some reason it might be louder, or it's like, well, visually it's gonna look just like any other Falcon 9 launch. It's the knowledge that there's people on board. That's really the only.
Yeah, and it just. Getting ready for it, I think, kind of ruined it for me.
Yeah, Seth is on board with it. He said, yeah, that's why we're telling people not to come. It wasn't anything special, but that's also why I went for crowd shots. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, look at
especially on Wednesday.
Yeah, for sure. All right, y'all. I think that's going to be a show. I think we went way over. I told Adrian, like, I don't think we're going to go too far over. We're like an hour.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I canceled all the plans that I had afterwards. So it's good.
All right. All right. Yeah. So thanks, chat, everybody. We really appreciate you guys being in there every time. If anybody's here that has not already subscribed and liked, smash that like button. Destroy that subscribe button.
Click, 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 click.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
Destroy
it. Clubby said, I told myself if I don't see a rocket this year, I'll be angry. Are you angry? Great episode of the Rocket Hunters. Thank you so much. And Seth punches monitor. And Harry press all the buttons. Yes, thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, play us out.
Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.
And